All right, so today what I wanted to do was just do a brief lesson since you guys already did the warm-up, you're doing the factoring the AC method. I just wanted to go over just when we're looking at a parabola, we can easily go back and forth between what we have for our equation, right? So our equation for the quadratic or for the formula is over here, x squared plus x minus 2. And from that, right, so this minus 2, that C term that, I usually call it the C term, that is our y-intercept. I don't have my stylus working, so the y-intercept, right? So -2, if we go right here, we go, there's 1, there's 2. All right, so that's 0, comma, -2. So from our quadratic equation, when we look at that, we can tell right off the bat what our y-intercept is. It's going to be that C term if it's in the standard form, right? The next thing that we can do is if we look on this graph and we see our roots, and I'm just going to see if I can list these out. Let's see. If I click on this, so I have -2, comma 0 is one root, and 1, comma 0 is the other root, or the other x-intercept. So that is when I'm at x equal to -2. It's one of my roots, and then x equal to a positive 1. Okay, so if we wanted to get back, right, if we wanted to take this, our two roots that we found off our graph, and get back to this equation, the way we could do that is we just do the reverse of what we did with that t-chart, right? Remember with that t-chart, we go like this, and now I'm going to say, okay, x is equal to -2. And now let me bring the 2 right next to the x. I'm just going to go reverse what we had done before. And I bring the wall, I add my 2. So I get x plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay. And on this side, we have, right, I'm just going to go with this. X is equal to 1. So now, again, I do my wall. I bring my 1 to the other side. So I'm going to do the opposite. It's a plus 1, so I'm going to minus 1. So then I end up with x minus 1 is equal to 0. So that's basically the reverse of what we've been doing when we try to find our zeros, right? Our x-intercepts. So now that we have x plus 2, right? I'm going to put that in parentheses. And then next to it, I'm going to go x minus 1. And remember, all I'm doing is I'm taking this part and just bringing it down there. Taking this part and bringing it down there. If I do a FOIL method, or if I do the box, remember that box method where I can say, okay, I've got an x on top, and then I've got a 2. We do our box method. And all I'm going to do is I brought down this to there. I brought the x term to here. I brought the 2 to there. So now I'm just going to bring down this x and minus 1. So I go x and minus 1. So x times x gives me x squared. X times 2 gives me 2x. X times a -1 gives me -x. -1 times 2 gives me a -2. Okay. So when I bring everything down that's inside the box, so now I'm gonna take all this stuff out and just put it together. I get x squared. I get plus 2x. I get minus x and minus 2. And so now when I simplify this, I get x squared plus 2x minus x just gives me a plus x minus 2. So with that, if you look at this, x squared plus x minus 2, that's what I'd put in, right? So if I am given the parabola, I can just by seeing what my x-intercepts are, I can go all the way back to find out what my equation is. So again, I just got to do this method. I do the reverse of what we did. So I go through the t-chart. Now I bring my number over, right? I brought that 2 over where it has x equals 2, so I'm up here. X equals negative 2. I added 2 to both sides. I end up with x plus 2. I took x equal to negative 1. I brought the 1 back over next to the x. Again, reversing what we've been doing. Set it equal to 0. I get x minus 1. And then I just multiply these two together. I do either my FOIL or box method down here. And then I can come up with what my quadratic equation was for that parabola. Again, on the Regents exam, they're going to give you a graph and say, what quadratic formula is this one, right? A couple of hints that you can look to eliminate when you do that is, you should be able to tell, okay, my y-intercept is negative 2. So if you had 4 multiple choice answers, you could eliminate some of them just based off of knowing that negative 2 is going to be that C term. And then just by going through this process, you could get the rest of that. So what we're going to do now is, I just wanted to show you guys that. I might give you one example right now, see if you can work your way backwards. And again, this is it's going to be something that we're going to work on. It looks like a lot. It's not too much. As you work your way through, it's going to be pretty easy. The more we do this. So I want you to try a problem right now, and then we'll work up more on this on Thursday. Okay, thanks.